Hey guys, at this point, I don't even know what to think anymore. I'm starting to think that there's two separate people who write the TWID, because this one just felt so schizo. Like, I swear to you, there's one who's allowed to just go out and do whatever they want and is also just like fed all of the good constructive feedback from the community. And the other one's just locked in Bungie HQ with a computer that only feeds them D2 Twitter and Reddit, dude. Like, I just don't even know what to think. In all seriousness, though, I don't think that this TWID is as bad as people are saying or making it. I think the bigger problem is it just shows how tone deaf Bungie is being towards the community, or that they are kind of trying to intentionally push player buttons right now to just kind of be able to have easy wins in the future, like how they already changed the fact that they're like, oh, we're going to revert the having to decrypt primes. I don't want to have to go over the whole TWID, since I'm sure you've already seen it 17 bajillion times. There's just some parts of it that I really want to hone in on, because I think they kind of show like two very weird sides of Bungie. First, the elephant in the room. Why are we lowering rewards when we just said power progression was slow? Personally, I think that it's because they either want to incentivize the new activities in Ash and Iron and avoid kind of the same things being the power grind meta. They want to avoid solo ops being the same, obviously, as everyone has been saying, and obviously things like Encore. I'd be fine with this. However, what really pisses me off about it is that this is all guesswork. I cannot say with 100% certainty that like this is the reason why they're doing it, as well as the fact that it's just a change that has no explanation around it. Like, that is what I would say is the big issue, and what it just really is highlighted a ton in is this TWID is it feels like they tiptoe around certain subjects only to make a change without like a real explanation, and then it leaves me and a lot of other players wondering why the hell did you do this? Because this is not what people have been asking for, and just leads to even more frustration. Like, even if they had given a lot more explanation, I'm sure people would have still been pissed off, but they would have had things to go off of. They would have had a reason, okay, instead of just completely ignoring what the community said and lowering the amount of rewards, people would have been like, oh, okay, there might be some reason why, but it's just stupid. I can even give an example from this TWID. So, if we're looking earlier in the TWID, they talk about some of the new loadout modifiers and equipment locked. Specifically, they talk about making like the locked loadout give less score, because it was hopefully there to incentivize players to not swap loadouts as much in like the earlier game, because I think they were worried. Obviously they said they were worried about loadout swapping, but now that they have a little bit more confidence in it, or just something else, I guess, they're lowering the score bonus from it and introducing new loadout modifiers to compensate for that. Stuff like the touche mod, or like explosive weapons only, which to me at least sound really annoying, but at least they're recognizing that. They recognize that they might be annoying, so they at least say they're giving juicy score bonuses, which we'll have to see when they actually come out, and won't be in match-made activities, because I could not imagine going into a match-made activity and being like, yeah, you can only use explosive weapons, by the way. Like, that would be balding. This, in my opinion, is a really good loop to go through whenever they're making a change, because they at least explain why they are making the change, what is changing, and what is being done to compensate for it, and at least acknowledging what some of the pain points could be. Like, it's obviously not perfect, and even though even with this example, I don't fully agree with it, and I don't like it at all, or I don't like all of it, I can at least have reason, like I know why they're doing it, and I can wait and see if it's worth it in the future. If these are giving, like, imagine these are giving you so much score that you can take off like several other, like you can take off Banes or other stuff like that, so that you can basically play it on level. You just have to deal with having only explosive weapons. I don't know. That gets a little bit into like the, oh, you can play your way, but then also play our way, and I don't really know what to say about that right now. But when we get to the other person who is writing the TWID, this person who is just angry all the time, I guess, who says, all right, and I'm stealing MacDick's analogy here because I really like it, but players playing the game, they really like this donut, right? And so they don't want these other donuts that are here, because they just aren't as good as like the current one that they're using. Like the one that you have is really good. So to fix it, instead, what Bungie does is they make the really good donut terrible. And then they also just don't even explain why they did that. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. The main thing I want to say here is the main thing that gets me is the lack of just full and clear communication with the community on a lot of things. This TWID would have sucked in general, but like it hurts even worse knowing that they are contradicting their words from the past and giving absolutely like minimal explanation on it as well. And to even go into the raid a little bit, because this is not my expertise, I have not done World's First or anything like that before. It was nice to see them acknowledging like, hey, we're going to increase and improve the drops for the raid, increasing the quality, the amount of drops you could potentially get, which this could also be a result of the epic raid coming out anyways. Then they also, for the raid race, they quintuple down on terrible decisions with not swap. Like, I can understand where they're coming from, because a lot of people were not really happy with how prevalent loadout swapping was during the DP raid, and I know there are teams who cleared it without doing it, but I think the big people, like the winning team, all stuff like that, they were all heavy loadout swapping. But this to me just looks bad because it puts more worry like on what the people wondering what you can run. They acknowledge that they say the experience has been tuned around the modifier and there will be more on it in a future TWID, but I feel like just putting it here without more explanation of what the differences are, giving any more reason as to why they want to put not swap on the epic raid, just only really serves to piss people off. So I've been ranting a lot during this. I do want to say there are some legitimately decent changes here. Again, the lock loadout stuff isn't insane. I like that there's a couple things on like increasing rewards, acknowledging that. But most importantly, I would say the biggest thing is Bungie, just please try to be more clear with the community and give explanation about these big changes, like in the portal changes. Like, I don't know. In the end, I'm just hoping that it doesn't end up being a way for them to say like, hey, look, we're listening. Look at all these changes or things we're doing that you didn't like. And all it was is just reversing all of these like really ass decisions that they haven't even implemented yet. The biggest thing I just want to see is just don't really kind of keep all of these changes behind closed doors. And then when players are telling you like, hey, like the power grind is too slow, and then you make this change and no one knows why. Like, I don't know anyone who has a good reason why you are slowing the power grind down in theory even more. Before we go, two quick things. One, Bungie, I would say set a standard time commitment to reward quality or quantity that you should be getting. You don't have to say this. Personally, I think the perfect place to start with this is the current solo ops and making other activities comparable to that instead of making solo ops worse, i.e. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be as extreme as like the K1, one drop every basically 2.5 minutes. I do think that's a kind of fair amount though, because it makes you feel good at the end when you get a ton of drops, especially considering to indie activities that are dropping multiple things at a time, and it can still happen obviously in solo ops, but getting dupe drops feels terrible. Along with this, especially with Conquest becoming replayable, make there be a place I'd say to get like higher quality gear, so you can kind of choose between, okay, maybe I just hit this new Conquest which will give me higher quality gear, higher tier gear, or I can go and stick it out and level up a little more to kind of get more loot. I don't know. The big thing is just set like internally even, you don't have to say like, oh, we want to make one drop equal to 5 minutes of your time, because I don't know if that's going to be the best. I don't think that's the best thing to give the community, because then it's always going to come back to, hey, you guys said you want to do 5 minutes for every drop. I don't know. Just internally make there be a like standard, and don't make that standard super low. As for the second thing, I know it's been going around about Pete Parsons stepping down and Justin Truman is taking his place, sort of. First, if you didn't know, Truman is pretty famous for an out-of-context quote about never over-delivering, which I personally even thought was bad until I was given the actual context of it, especially when you consider as well this was given at a game developer conference, so this was a lot more geared towards game devs instead of the players. And so you can see for yourself it isn't an objectively negative thing. There are definitely some parts of it, and some, looking from when he said it, which was I think like 2022 till now, there's definitely some parts of like things that have just been left behind in his whole like train station idea. It's like, I don't know. Second, Truman is not the CEO of Bungie. He's taking this place of studio head, which likely means that Sony is taking a bit more role in either just kind of this development or management cycle. As they've kind of said, like they're like Bungie's freedoms are getting like reduced a little bit. The point being, I would just say give it some time with Truman and new management, and we can make our decisions and our opinions once we actually see some of the decisions that they take in the direction that they're taking it. I don't want to like already be like rah 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 like it sucks before we have any proof that it is going to suck. All right, man, that was a doozy, but hopefully you enjoyed. I just really hope that this takes the game in a better direction, but we'll have to see. Like, the main thing for me is I really don't like being negative about this game, but it really sucks to see, especially when people that I watch a ton and other creators, like everyone is all talking about what are you doing? Because I know not everyone wants to make this kind of content, but when everyone in the community is kind of like just came, like literally got hit out of nowhere, like got uppercutted from left field just for no reason, it just I feel like I have to participate a little bit. I don't know. I'm Mr. Little Small Creator. I don't know. As for me, I have been having so much fun recently with the 450 Prime grind, just the current peak of Destiny 2. Help me. But I've been streaming on Twitch if you ever want to come by and talk about anything like this, as well as been working towards 100 followers on Twitch. And when we hit it, I'll be getting a face cam and doing a solo all dungeons in a row challenge or something like a 0 to hero. So if you want to see that, I would always appreciate the support. As for this video, if you enjoyed, all likes and subs are greatly appreciated. appreciated anytime, as well as any feedback you want to give me in the comments as well. Like, I'd always love to talk a little more. I definitely don't have the best. I definitely sometimes will jump the gun on what I'm talking about or what I think of something before I actually have like the full informed decision. But hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever's going on. All right, see ya.